boys. Jason Shadrick with PremierGuitar.com. We're at the Summer NAMM show, and you were just hearing John at the EHX demo some of the pedals that we're going to talk to first. But first, we're going to talk to the man right here, Mike Matthews. How you doing, Mike?
Hey, rock and roll.
So, why don't you tell us just a little bit briefly kind of about the new pedals you guys brought, the silencer, the looper, and the Badstone?
Well, the looper, our 22,500 looper, basically, our competitors like TC with their Ditto 1, Ditto 2, still the Boss low-end looper, Ibanez, our 360 looper, which is got a little more stuff than the Ditto. But anyway, thousands and thousands of those have sold over the last couple of years. And so we have the 22,500 coming out. There's still a couple of software bugs we're going to patch up. When it's ready, it'll be out. Yep. And all the guys and chicks that have gotten into looping and dig it, and they want to do something more, they're going to be able to do it with the 22,500. So we're real excited about it, and I'm pissed off that there's some bugs, but we've got to solve them before we get them on out.
That's right. And so, give me a quick overview on the silencer.
The silencer just, our pedals, as everybody knows, are perfect. But some of our competitors might have a little noise, a little hum. Even if a guy busts one of our pedals or whatever, the silencer, you can set a level where the signal will just cut out, so that you won't have that resolute noise, especially when there's a pause and you're playing. It's nothing revolutionary. In fact, we had a product called the silencer back in the 70s. This has some new features. To tell you the truth, we make about 120 different pedals, and I don't even know all the features. We got about 12 designers, and different guys have designed different aspects of different pedals. That Electric Mistress is one of my favorites. That stereo Electric Mistress. If we have we only have 1 amp here. But what that has is you can put your mono input, your guitar, and what comes out can be mono or stereo. And if you play it stereo, you can have either stereo Electric Mistress flange or stereo chorus, or you can even have them together. Usually when you try to put modulations with other modulations, you get these oscillations. But not with the stereo Electric Mistress. It's one of my favorite pedals. It's not a big seller now, but it's gorgeous if you have 2 amps.
And finally, let's talk a little bit about the Badstone that we're going to hear John play in a little bit.
Before the Small Stone, we had the Badstone. The first one was with this ugly face, and actually that's where we discovered feedback. I mean, we got into phase shifting because before that, a company called CMI, Chicago Musical Instruments, was selling a phase shifter that was designed by Oberheim and became real popular. So we started trying to design it with FETs, with FETs, and one of the earlier models had this weird sound that wasn't supposed to be there, and we found that was a feedback, and by controlling it, it was very useful and good. Like the MXR Phase 90 did not have any feedback. Our Badstone, that we brought that in with feedback, so you can get that rich extra overtones. Then we brought out a later model of the Badstone. The Badstone had 6 stages. The 6 stages units sounded much richer when you use feedback. But if you're just using no feedback, the 4-stage one sounds better. So the Badstone has 6 stages, and it has a very rich feedback, and it's different sound than the Small Stone.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for giving us a little backstory on these pedals. We're going to move over here to John.
Glad I remembered that much wrapped.
We're going to
ask me about the wrong pedal. I forgot.
We're going to move over here, John. He's going to tell us how these sound.
Premier Guitar, #1 on digital marketing.
So, John, Mike kind of gives the backstory on some of these pedals. Now let's kind of dig in and talk a little bit about the features. Let's start here with the new looper.
Okay, well, it's a dual stereo looper, and it also has a microphone input, which is very cool right there. And it has phantom power, and you can choose whether you want mic or the regular 1/4 inch in mic trim and stuff like that. So basically you can kind of loop your voice, or dogs barking, or whatever you feel like looping. It also has an SD card. I have an 8 gig in here now, but you can go either down to 4 or up to 32. And I think this 8 gig one gives about 12 hours of loop time, which is pretty great. And the one advantage of this is you could have certain cards for certain projects, which is great. And you can also save your loops via USB to your computer, so that's really cool. And let's see, moving to the top of it, you have two loops, and you can run them in parallel or in sequential mode. So parallel would set your loops however length you want and have them running at the same time. Do different stuffs. You could do overdubs, unlimited overdubs. You can also run them in sequential mode, so you can do your verses and then switch to the chorus, back to the verse, and stuff like that, which is really cool. You can also change the speed, the tempo, without changing the pitch, which is a very cool thing, and let's see, what else can you do with it? Well, you got the reverse, you got the octave. And it also has some drum sounds in it, so you can play along with
some built-in drum sounds.
Yeah, some built-in drum sounds.
All right, well, let's hear a little bit of it.
So I just kind of layered a loop on loop B. Now, if I don't like that, I can get rid of it by just pressing on it. So I'm going to do that again. Anyway, so yeah, you can just kind of go on. You can keep on going up, keep on overdubbing, undo. You could go reverse. You can also let's hear what the time thing sounds like. So we can speed it up without it changing tempo.
The audio quality still is pretty good.
Yeah. So it's really cool. And let's see, what else can you do with it? Oh, it's got some drum machines in it, so I'll just show you some of that. Yeah, you got that kind of stuff. Just like a whole bunch of different ones. Let's see what we got here. Get your Steely Dan on. Yeah, so it's really quite the nifty device.
So tell me when this looper will be available and what will be the price point on it.
It'll probably be available in about a month. I think the price is about $257 street price.
All right, John, let's move over and talk about the silencer now. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so the silencer is as a noise gate, but it has an effects loop, so you can just put your noisy pedals, our competitors' pedals in there because they're so noisy. No. Well, anyway, I have a Big Muff in there, and as everyone knows that owns a Big Muff, it can be noisy, especially in the when you have the sustain up, which I'm going to crank up. And let's turn that off and let's hear that noise. It's pretty noisy, so I can put that on, and it gets rid of a lot of that noise. It has a variable, you can really clamp it down, or you can kind of let some of the noise through that's okay. And the release knob is kind of timed, so it's not voltage. It will shut off in a timed manner, so 8 milliseconds for the tighter clamping, and 4 seconds for the gate will stay open. So if you're sustaining a note, everybody's had a noise gate, and you go to sustain a note, and it clamps it down, and you lose all your sustain. So it's kind of a neat feature. Of course, you have to dial it into your rig however you like.
And what availability and pricing on that will be?
Again, I think in about a month, and I think it's about $57, $57.60 or something. You know, those wacky
Somewhere in there.
prices.
Now, finally, let's move over to the Badstone phase shifter that Mike was mentioning. Let's hear a little bit of that one.
Okay, yeah, Mike talked about a lot. Really talked about it. One thing he forgot to mention was, let me turn this guy off. Is one way this is different than the original Badstone is the rate knob is a lot slower, so you can get those kind of more modern phase things. So I can kind of, let me put on a distortion so you can really hear it. So it goes a lot slower. It takes a while for it to cycle around. But that's kind of cool, you know, because a lot of people like that. And also has frozen phase, so it's the manual knob. So what we can do is, and I had the feedback all the way up. That's the feature that Mike was talking about. So I'm using a lot of gain here, but so it's kind of almost like a parked wah, you know, like you can put a wah halfway through. So you kind of get that kind of thing going, but it's a kind of a phase thing. So it's like a notch filter type thing. So.
And finally, what's going to be the availability? Same thing, about a month or so?
No, the Badstone's out.
Badstone's out.
Yeah, just I don't think you guys have ever kind of done any stuff on it. So, what's up?
Let me ask you that question again. So the Badstone's already out, and people can go. And where can people go to find out? So the Badstone is already out. So where can people go online to find more information about these three pedals and everything else that EHX builds?
At ehx.com.
All right, John, thank you so much for showing us the pedals.
You're welcome.
This is Jason Shadrick with PremierGuitar.com. So John, play us a little something.